the notion that interest rates will rise, how does that impact not just the stock market, but also consumers?
I think for the stock market, it's probably a pretty mild impact just because I don't think anyone really thinks rates are going to go up a lot. I think maybe you get at most 2 quarter point rate hikes in the next 6 to 12 months from the Fed. And if that's really all you're looking at, that's just not that big a deal. The yield curve has already steepened a fair amount from where it was. So some of that is to some degree priced in. The 10-year yield is higher than Fed funds, noticeably now. So I don't think there's a lot of risk that people think rates are going to go way up. And therefore, it's just not going to have a big impact on the market. And particularly because a lot of the things that are holding up the market, the tech spending is really not sensitive to rates. Rates going up 50 basis points is just not going to change much for AI related spending. Most of that is equity financed one way or another, and if there is borrowing, it's going to happen either way. It's not really going to be affected much by a small change in rates. Consumers might feel it a little bit if the rates go up, but again, rates aren't that high right now, and another 50 basis points at most just isn't going to move the needle that much. Particularly because the private sector consumers are not that highly leveraged. They don't have a huge amount of debt relative to income or assets in aggregate, like they did, say, in 2005, 2006, for instance. So the impact of rates is less just because people proportionally have less debt in aggregate than they used to. And so same thing for corporations. Big companies just aren't carrying a ton of debt relative to their assets. So rates are just not that big a swing factor relative to past cycles. So that's why I'm less concerned about rates and more concerned about if people decide that all the capex and investment spending that's going on for tech and AI isn't going to pay off, at some point, and that slows down, then there's that chain reaction of everything else that's coming from that slows down as well.